all the buttons. The buttons.
Yeah,
are pushed.
well, it looks like the buttons are pushed. You know, buttons and beans.
Would you like to go ahead and confess at the top of this podcast?
Yeah, we are. This is a redo because we had a great podcast with Aaron Page from Metro Family Magazine, and it was probably a half hour, and it didn't record.
In your defense, there are a lot of buttons to push in here.
You know, you could have just left it that we had technical issues. You really just threw me under the bus and said I didn't push the right button.
It was you missed one button.
I did.
It can happen to any of us, Jeff.
I asked you if it recorded. You're like, well, yeah, I saw the cameras move. Yeah, well, the audio didn't record.
One key part of podcast.
Yeah,
the audio.
Maybe the audio.
We looked like we were having a great time.
Yeah, we sure did. Well, Katy Perry was singing.
All right, so we'll bring Erin back on next time. We can track her down.
Introduce you to her one more time.
Mm-hmm. She's pretty great. So maybe in a few weeks we'll have Erin back on. But in the meantime, let's re-talk about some of the things that we talked about. I do want to start because we were both on vacation not long ago, like last week. Oh, it feels like forever, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Oh, too long. But you mentioned you like going to resorts. And at this particular resort, you were the youngest one.
Yes.
There?
You know, so we've been to several of these resorts, and I'll go ahead and give them a shameless plug. Sandals. And usually it's a great mix. I mean, you just don't. But for some reason, the Sandals in Barbados was a lot older than I was expecting, to the point where I almost was the youngest one there. Were
you showing off your knee? Were you just running circles around everybody in their walkers and their canes?
You know what?
Stuff?
Because you brought that up. Sure, I was. I was like, look, I can do all of this. I can stand up paddleboard in the ocean better than you. I've got, a new shoulder. I'm Bionic Man 2.0.
Do you prefer being the youngest one, or would you rather be one of the older ones in a younger crowd?
Wow, that's actually a really good question. Man, I really don't know. I know I should say I'd prefer to be the young one because then, it's like, yeah, I'm the hip one. But I think I'd just like to be in the middle. I know that wasn't even a choice.
Yeah,
you
I didn't
gave
give you. Okay, loophole.
But I really don't want to be the oldest. So I'm going to have to go be the youngest.
Yeah, I think youngest is the way to go.
Since you're not going to let me be in the middle.
You want to be the cool one, right? The young one.
I don't know how cool I can be, so I don't know. Let's just go with the young one, okay? Let's just leave it at young.
Young one.
I don't know if I can be very cool.
You also mentioned a lot of chatty people out there on your vacation.
I asked you straight up. I said, when you go on vacation, do you go to relax or do you go to socialize?
I go to relax.
See, that's what I thought a vacation was. But I found out a lot of these people, they go to socialize to the point where they all of a sudden have travel buddies. They travel to all these resorts together because they met at this resort or whatever. And I'm like, I'm not trying to collect more friends. I really just want to chill.
Okay. I'm guessing Janet is the same as you. Does she like having the conversation? Is she out on that?
Yeah, no. So here's the deal. We both
are
friendly. Friendly. We're not rude. I don't mind having I like learning new things about people. But I really don't want to get in deep with those people.
You're not the one initiating the conversation. Right. But you'll engage in it if somebody engages.
Yes.
Some people are like, when we were talking to Erin about this, she's a couple divided. She said her husband is that guy that goes to socialize and she just wants to be left alone so she can sit in silence on a beach somewhere.
I felt like that's what a vacation was.
I can see both sides of this. I definitely want to be left alone more than not. But when somebody engages me, I try to be, we talked about this before, I try to be present and really listen to their story. And I've met some really interesting people that way, especially, if you're doing some further out travel. Where'd they come from? Where are they going? Why are they going there? It can be interesting, but overall, nah.
Well, that's what I was going to say. We met some really interesting people from the UK and all over.
Yeah.
And I heard some really great stories, but at the end it was, hey, it was nice to meet you. Have a great time.
Yeah.
And that was it.
You didn't connect with them?
No.
I did follow, we co-followed each other on Facebook. On my trip to Oregon, I met a guy that used to be in a band a long time ago. Anyways, he was really interesting. So we followed each other. So I get to look at his hikes and stuff like this. It's not like we're DMing each other, planning future trips or something together. No, wasn't like that.
I'm so grateful that not only do we dress alike, as we found out this morning.
Oh, wow.
But we agree on the vacation thing.
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, it's wow. I don't know if they can see the pants, but they match.
They're
maroon.
They're the exact same color, maroon and black, and we did not plan this.
We look ridiculous in here. Wow. Anything you wanted to discuss, Jeff?
Yeah, I wanted to go back over. So you said that you and Beth got on this topic about if you had to describe your friend as a food,
Yes.
what food would you describe them as?
Yes. Also going to highly recommend if you're taking a road trip to pull up some prompts.
Okay.
Because I've known Beth since 4th grade and we learned some things about each other we didn't know before.
Oh, sweet.
Like how we'd identify each other as foods. So this should come as no surprise if you listen to our morning show, which if you don't, I don't know why you're listening to the podcast.
Right, yeah.
But she went with beans for me.
Hey, buttons and beans.
Buttons and beans. It's long established that I enjoy some beans.
She does.
So I asked her why she picked beans. She does want to make it clear that it makes her sound like a jerk calling her best friend beans. But here are her reasons. They're versatile. They can be a meal if needed.
Yeah.
They're mostly a casual, consistently good staple. You can dress them up and make them fancy, but they're so good just as they are. And they're never pretentious. Beans.
Actually, I got to give Beth props. That's actually pretty good.
Pretty spot on, right?
Here's what I came up. So I actually put a lot of thought into this, and I came up with 3, okay?
Jeff, you are Chat GPT.
No, I really wasn't.
Okay.
I really wasn't. Because the first thing I thought of is one of my favorite foods, which, you're
thanks.
you're one of my favorite people, nachos. And you're going, what, not? Really, because they can be so creative. And I think you're very creative because when you think about nachos, there is no wrong thing really to put on nachos.
No, you can change your nachos depending on your mood. You want some Italian nachos. You want dessert nachos.
Bam. That's why. But then I went on to one I know that you like, peanut brittle. And I thought that would be a good descriptor of you because you're sweet and salty. But if I'm not careful, you could cut me.
Well, it can be a little rough.
Right.
I will say I like a specific peanut brittle.
That's true.
It's
not
a
all.
honey peanut brittle from Colorado.
But here's the one that I landed on that I thought was you 110%.
Okay.
Oatmeal.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, tell me more. It sounds a little bland to me.
It does. That's why I thought, is it going to be one of those you're like, I don't like that. But I think when you hear why, warm, you're a very warm person.
Okay, thank you.
Sweet, back to the sweet and salty. And the one that I thought was just you to a T. The fact that you have a gooey, melty, warm heart.
Aww.
Because you are so kind.
That's so sweet.
And I thought, it doesn't sound good, kind of like beans, but oatmeal pretty much describes you.
I'm taking both of these as a compliment because oatmeal would also line up with a casual, consistently good staple.
Yes.
You can dress them up, but they're good as is and not pretentious.
Yes.
Checks all the
See? Check.
Well, Brett, you are also a breakfast food, Jeff. You are a cinnamon roll.
What? Why am I a cinnamon roll? How is this a good thing?
You are layered.
Yeah, okay.
Also gooey middle, by the way.
Okay.
Yes. You're a little spicy, a little sweet. Depends on the layer. I like the well-loved classic. You are a well-loved classic.
You just called me old without calling me old again.
You hear what you want to hear.
You do this all the time to me. Classic.
Also, you're good in the morning and you pair well with coffee. People enjoy it with their breakfast.
But do they
just
really?
Just like you, Jeff.
But do they really?
I think it's the perfect. Find one flaw with that reasoning. You're a cinnamon roll.
Okay, I'll go with this. So we've got oatmeal and cinnamon roll. That's our new morning show.
Well, I'm glad we landed on breakfast foods.
Right?
Maybe there's a local restaurant that wants to make like some sort of My Magic Morning Show deal where you get an oatmeal and a
My Magic Morning Show with oatmeal and cinnamon roll.
Sounds kind of delicious. I would listen.
Okay, one of the things I wanted to ask you because I don't remember we were talking about it and I was like, oh my gosh. I know we all have like probably so many awkward moments in our life that it's hard to nail down one.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
But I wanted to see if you could because where I went happened right here in the studio, to be exact. So Larry Grant used to do the midday shift for us, which for non-radio people, that's 10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
And we were always, pranking each other, having a good time. Well, I was trying to make him crack up or bust up on air, mess up.
That's the thing we do regularly.
Yes. So he had his golf shirt tucked in. He's sitting in the chair. He's live on the radio. I walk up behind him and I go to untuck his shirt and I have both my hands on his shirt and I just pull as fast as I can. The problem is I ripped his shirt instead of pulling it out. and I ripped it in 2 perfect patterns of an oval where my hands were. And I don't know why I did this, but my instant reaction was push it right back down. It'll be
You'll
okay.
never notice.
Yeah.
Nobody never saw that.
No. And I was like, oh my God. Now, just so you'll know, I did buy him a new golf shirt.
Okay. Did he break? Did you accomplish your goal?
He did. He was like, what the heck? So I accomplished my goal, but in a very awkward way.
At least it wasn't a wedgie.
Oh, oh, and what if it had ripped
When
his
you
underwear?
tear it through the seams, it goes atomic.
Oh
Is
my
that
gosh.
an atomic untuck if you rip the shirt? Is that how
Hey, I like that.
that's what takes it to the nuclear level?
Do you have an awkward?
Yeah, the first one that occurred to me now as a kid. So I'm hard to embarrass now, but I remember I was in front of the class reading aloud. You want to sound like you know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Read very smoothly. So you see a word you're not sure, you just blow through that
Right.
word.
You just say it with confidence.
Book about octopus
Oh, no.
talking about their 8 tentacles. My brain
You
went
did not say what I think you said.
testicles. My
No!
brain went 8 testicles. This is like 4th grade, so like only half of the class got it. They were all boys snickering, and the teacher going, "That's tentacles. Tentacles is that
I
word."
could just see your teacher. No, 10
Tentacles.
ten.
Tentacles. Kudos to her for keeping it together. I would have snickered like all the little boys in the class.
Right, that is priceless right there. Testicles. Wow.
I wasn't even sure what I had just said. I was like, wait, is that the really bad one? I don't think I'm supposed to say that word.
Is that the really bad one?
So yeah, embarrassing things led me to think of your question that you wanted to ask about April Fools. Because I think,
Well,
it's
so
a good one.
I don't know if this is sad. I mean, part of me thinks it is, but the way that we have changed so much in society, do people still pull April Fool's pranks on other people? I mean, is it safe to?
I think you got to know your audience because pranking is a big thing on social media.
Yes.
So you can still get a lot of likes from pranking people.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got to be careful what your prank is.
Yes.
Let's not do any pregnancy announcements. Let's not do that anymore. Not a great prank. So there are some that just, no, we're not going to land things like that. Not going to go over well. But I feel like, if the old saran wrap on the toilet seat or something, a classic. Always a good one.
Such a mess.
Good as long as you're not cleaning it up.
One of the reasons I bring this up is a few years back, we tried to do the Crescent Ski Chalet.
Oh, you told me about this promotion gone wrong.
And we went out and interviewed folks from Crescent. We interviewed former Governor Nye. I mean, we put this together this would be an amazing, that Joe Schmo or whatever it is that they have on TV now.
Uh-huh.
This would be a great television show.
Yes. If you're not an Okie, there would not be.
And so we described the mountains in Crescent so high that literally you could see them from Norman. Okay.
Again, this is ridiculous if you're an Oklahoman.
And we even had jingles that said, if you can find it, you deserve it.
That's pretty good.
Where this backfired
promotion.
and why I asked this question is we actually got sued because somebody canceled their trip to Colorado and tried to book a trip to Crescent, Oklahoma.
The Crescent Ski Chalet
Yes.
with the non-existent mountains in Crescent.
So I was just curious and I kind of wanted to relive that story because, man, the production that we did on that was top notch.
Yeah, no, it's a really funny fake promotion for April Fools, but I guess you got to know your Oklahoma for that joke to land correctly.
I know we say this almost every podcast, but if you guys wouldn't mind commenting, I'd like to know, do people still prank somebody on April Fools?
Yeah. And what ones are you pulling? Did they go over well? Or I would like to know who's had a prank pulled on them that they even thought was good. Like, oh, you got me. Yeah. Has anybody really got you on an April Fool's before?
Oh, before we all, and this again shows the age here, but we used to have messages that were handwritten messages. You didn't have voicemails and texts and all that. And I got back. I was checking my messages. I had a message from Miss Maine's, first name Myra. And when I called
Myra Maines,
when I called the number, they answered, City Morgue, how may I help you?
It was gonna
and
be
I didn't catch it.
crematoria.
And I said, is my remains in? And they said, honey, you have been pranked. That was one of the most genius ones I've heard of.
Except for the lady who had to answer the phone.
Yeah,
That was like,
and I'm
again,
sure she heard that all the time.
you got,
How about you?
someone
Did
else
you get one?
No, people don't often try to prank me. Well, that's not an invitation, Jeff.
Oh, I know what I'm doing next week.
Ooh, don't tell.
Oh, I'm going to get you so good.
Don't tell Dave McKay either. It's like the two of you. And if Jeff Couch gets in on it, the three of you, up to no good at all for me.
Okay, one more time I want to ask this because,
Okay.
and remember, if you're listening, this is because we had a fail on our podcast. So we're just rehashing this.
Yeah.
Again. Do you have a happy place? I mean, a true happy place.
Okay. Yeah. We did discuss this before. I went with my grandma's house, but I think it's because you prompted me. You picked like a.
I said the lake. And the reason I said
the
our
lake house. Yeah.
Yeah, our lake place. And the reason is because before my dad passed, that was his favorite place. He was so ornery. He would call me and just do this. I'd answer and he'd go, "Can you hear it?" And there was silence because he was at the lake.
Mm-hmm.
And I would tell him every time, "You suck." And he goes, "That's why you need to keep working, son, so I can keep coming." Well, Dad and I had a great relationship. And so now when I go there, yes, it's great because it's a lake. I can fish, I can chill, whatever. But I think it's because I feel close to Dad.
Yeah.
So that's my happy place.
I love that. And if I said my grandma's house, if I could go there regularly, that would be my happy place. But when we talked to Erin, she brought up just nature. I think being outdoors is kind of my happy place. Everybody, again, if you've listened to us, you know I like hiking. There's just something peaceful, especially in the fall in Colorado with the quaking aspens and seeing those leaves just slowly fall down. It just seems so fake. It's so peaceful. I don't know. I reconnect with everything while I'm out there. I think that's my true happy place.
You know, when we actually got to take a trip to Grand Lake, Colorado.
Yeah.
And I do remember there was a downside I'll get to in just a second, but we took a horse ride through the nature. I mean, I don't know what I'm trying to say, forest. And I could totally see your whole body change and you were just at peace. And I mean, it was almost like you literally could see the tension leave your body. It's so relaxing
to me. Now, it was sad because everything got burned through that area.
Yes.
But it was still fascinating, like what trees, how they burned. Half of one would burn and then another one would be fine. Like it was just fascinating.
Right. Well,
me.
And then I thought what was cool, because you and I talked about it, was the new growth. We literally got to see that the forest was regenerating itself.
It's cool to see how nature works. I don't know, just seeing the cycle of nature, how everything works. I guess it makes me feel part of that.
Yeah. The downside, by the way, to the horseback ride with Rachael was her horse. I'm saying it's her horse. I'm hoping it was her horse.
Oh,
had
it was
the worst gas. And I was behind. And so the whole time we're riding, all I'm hearing is.
That made it better for me personally. And they gave you the smaller horse.
Yes.
So I had a taller horse and you were at butt level.
Yes. Thank you very much. It was great.
We need to take another trip back to Grand County.
No, I'm good for that. All right, it's time for our game part, right?
Yeah, okay. Pull a card over there.
I don't want to do that because we'll spill.
I know.
All right, there you go.
All right, what's your card?
What is something that always makes you feel a little brighter? I think I know the answer for you. Your niece.
Yeah, of course she does.
Yeah.
I thought of her immediately, but that felt like obvious, like people.
And I'm sure your best friend Beth makes you feel brighter because you guys hang out a lot.
You do too, Jazz.
Well, no, I appreciate that. I wasn't searching for that, but I was just like, you're pretty easy to pick because, I mean.
My people.
Yeah, your peeps.
My close people, of course, make my day brighter. I was trying to think of something really practical. Sometimes just going out, standing outside for a minute, getting some fresh air and some sun, even if it's just for like 5 minutes, just refresh, can kind of just reset your day a little bit. I think that makes my day a little bit brighter.
I think for me, obviously, I'd have to say family.
People, yeah.
Yeah, my peeps would make me brighter. But like you said, too, just going outside. There are some times literally when I have to take Bailey outside to begin with, which, by the way, is my little dog, if you don't know.
Poop time.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, I'm never going to live that one down.
It's about 6, by the way. Right in the middle of dinner.
Okay. So anyway, what I was saying is sometimes taking her out is really kind of refreshing, I guess.
Yes, it gives you a break in your day.
Because I'll go out, I'll sit down, let her take care of all the stuff she needs to take care of. And I don't know, it just makes me feel brighter.
Sometimes I live across from a park. Sometimes this is going to sound creepy, but going out there and just watching the kids play, like they're having so much fun.
Yeah.
I get to watch someone's childhood unfold.
Oh,
this will not be probably a day that sticks in their mind that I'm watching, but this is just someone's childhood. And I remember like that was just an everyday thing. Let's go over to the park and play. And I don't know, it's just a sweet little slice of life, I
I
think.
like that.
And
I
I
like that.
like doing that. All right. My question. What was the highlight of your day today, Jeff? I know mine right off the bat. It's only 9:06 a.m., by the way.
I'm afraid that ours is going to be the same.
It might be.
It's when I turned around and saw that you and I were dressed
We're
exactly.
wearing the same
Oh my gosh.
thing.
Because here's how it played out. So when Rachel comes into the studio, my back's usually turned because I'm doing work. And she literally, all I hear is her stop dead in her tracks and go, Jeff. I whip around and I'm like, no way. Because I see we're dressed exactly the same.
That was definitely the highlight. A lot of times we will wear the same color shirt or something like that. We'll be like, oh, cute, we match. You'll have a green on and I'll have something with a little green in it. This is the exact same. I'm going to try to talk and hold my foot up at the same time so the mic catches the color of my pants. Now you got to talk. So
Okay, I got to talk. Is it showing my pants?
Yeah, okay. Now everybody can see. What are the freaking chances, y'all?
The other one real quick, because I did have another one when you asked that, because I knew this was going to be the one. But you said something this morning when you were describing how much travel you had to do. And you called it traveler's butt. You said bottom.
You've had traveler's butt before.
Yeah, I have, but I was not expecting that. And here's the thing. Anybody that knows me, everybody picks on me about I have no rear end, okay?
You got permanent
no
traveler's
butt. Yeah. The nasty version I can't say, but I'll call it no butt at all. How's that? Is what I suffer from. Because of that, it doesn't take very long for me to not, I can't sit very long, especially if it's on a comfortable seat.
Yeah.
So when you said that, laughed my butt off and just totally related.
And then I told you that I needed to fluff them.
I know.
That when you
I
stand
never
up,
heard that either.
Really?
I need to stand up and fluff. So do you literally stand up and like fluff your butt?
Have you never done that?
Oh, I have never done that.
Really? Okay. It's like
I just did it.
It's like a pillow to me. Like once you stand up, you got to get the blood flowing again. So you got to jiggle your butt cheeks a little bit. And fluff your butt.
Wow.
You didn't think I meant literally?
I just thought you were being silly. I didn't know that you literally do this.
Maybe if your cheeks were bigger, you'd get it.
You know what? We're going to end it right there.
Can't lift air.
Stop. We're going to end it. This is the end. This is the end of this podcast.
There's got to be another joke in there.
Come on. I said this is the end.
I'll save it for the air.